welcome to the Hungry Bookworm. Today I wanted to introduce you to a series that I thoroughly enjoy, the Changling Chronicles by Emma Adams. Now this one has 7 books in the series. I haven't read the 7th yet, only because it's still being written. It's supposed to come out later this year. I just finished the 6th book. It came out a couple weeks ago, and I thoroughly enjoyed it. The only other series that I have read this many books in was Harry Potter. I did read all 7 books in that one as well. Now this one is a fantasy for adults. Emma Adams is a science fiction fantasy writer and everything in between. She has written several series and several standalones. This is my favorite of them, however. It is about this woman. Her name is Ivy Lane, and the only way to describe her is kick butt heroine pure. She has a sword. She loves to use it. She has a bit of magic. She's not so sure about that yet. And she's a mercenary. So you can imagine she is pretty tough. Now, this book is, guess this, action. I mean, action. It is not a deep book. It is not a book where you're going to sit and think about the meaning of life or about a lot of emotions. You get to know Ivy very well. I like her a lot. However, this is not about her emotional development and depth. This is action. This is fun. This is one of those books you pick up when you don't want to think and you just want to disappear into a monster fairy world with dragons and pixies and fairies and those kind of things. It takes place on an alternate Earth, and there's magic on this Earth. As I said, we've got dragons, we've got winter fairy, summer fairy, shapeshifters, mages, you name it, it's there. Pixies, everything. This book happens 10 years after an invasion on Earth. The evil fairies from the other dimension decide they want to try to take over Earth. Luckily, the mages, witches, and shapeshifters are able to hold them back. Barely. Earth is almost destroyed. Now, 10 years later, it's beginning to hold its own. Normality is kind of settling in again. However, now there are half fairy living on Earth. And these half fairy, you can't always trust them. They tell the truth. They have to tell the truth. But nobody's been better at bending the truth than those half fairies. And Ivy Lane has a bit of a detective feel to her. She has mysteries to solve, or murders oftentimes. And when she deals with the fairy, not only does she have a huge vengeance for the fairy, and you can find out why when you read this. I mean, I don't blame her. I would hate fairy too if I were her. However, the fairies, since they bend the truth all the time, she's got a lot of work. And in the end, she ends up against a lot bigger fight than she thought she would in the beginning. This book has a little bit of romance. I mean, to even say that is funny almost. There's a mage in here, an awesome guy. Emma does put some romance elements into this. However, don't expect a whole lot, okay? It's mostly action, as it's just a ton of fun to read. And I love to dive into this when I just want to forget everything around me and not think very much. So, as I said, book 7 coming out soon. And I'll see you next time with a new book. And until then, don't forget to feed that bookworm.